好的，大家好，欢迎来到中外马业交流会第11期的会议。我们这个会议呢将准时开始啊，现在我们要开始。那所以请大家进入这个会议的时候呢，记得把大家的那个话筒关成静音模式。那非常欢迎大家参加我们这个中外马业交流会啊，掌握全球马业的最新动态。我们是每个月的第一个星期一下午3到4点线上直播，然后我们这个交流会呢是以中英文双语来进行的。如果大家呢可以听的是英语，可能我们的嘉宾会讲英语，但是呢他的 PPT 全部翻译成中文了，所以大家也可以一边听一边看他们的讲稿。也能够明白他们所讲的东西，而且他们有很多图片，有丰富的图片帮助大家去理解。然后会后有任何问题呢，大家都可以问我们。好的，那我们现在正式开始。稍等啊，好的。那今天呢，非常高兴啊，因为大家也知道，我们这个前10期呢，就是我和周周来主持。今天我们有一位新的主持人，联合主持人李文。那我先做一个自我介绍，我叫 Zoe，那我是平时常住在上海，我之前呢是法国马业在中国的代表。现在呢，我是从事这个中国和国际之间的一个马术的资源的交流，以及一些商务的咨询的一些活动，所以呢，我是非常喜欢把大家发在一起，把资源沟通对接起来，所以呢，有了这个 idea， 有了这个想法去做这个中外马业交流会，每个月一次，跟大家呢可以让大家近距离的跟这些国际的马术资源和品牌进行一个对接。那今天呢，我非常高兴啊，有我的另外一位联席主持人李文加入到我们这个中外马业交流会里面来。我现在把话筒交给李文来做一个简单的自我介绍。
大家好，我是李文。我之前呢是一直在做，包括我现在一直在做赛马的解说，就是纯血马的速度赛的解说。不管是在国内还是国外，不管是线上和线下都有做过。线上的最大的就是像迪拜世界杯，或者说是刚刚过去的英国的皇家赛马会。线下的有玉龙的、武汉的中马协中马会等一些赛事的比赛。那么除了解说以外呢，那么我本职也是这个英国的口译的大学的硕士的毕业，所以说也做一些翻译和主持的工作。那么在这个纯血马或者说是在马圈的这个媒体部门或者说市场部门呢，我也做过1年半左右的，是爱尔兰纯血马事务部的亚洲代表，就是负责中国和爱尔兰两国之间的这个马匹的交流和人员的交流之间提供一些帮助和一些专业指导的建议。那么这就短短的时间，就是简单介绍一下我自己，因为我们今天的重头戏还是我们今天下午的4位讲者。那我们现在把话筒再交回给 Zoe。
好，谢谢李文，非常欢迎他加入到我们的这个会议里面来。大家也会发现他的英文也是讲得非常好，中英文都非常好啊。所以呢，也会帮助我们，相信也会帮助我们一起呢，跟这个中外的这些马业的相关人士进行一些沟通。那现在我来简单的再跟大家介绍一下我们这个中外马业交流会的一个注意事项。如果您是第一次来参加我们的会议的话，但是我看到我们的成员列表里面很多朋友都已经参加过了啊，所以如果你是第一次参加的话呢，我会跟你做一个简单的介绍。我们这个中外马业交流会呢，就是每个月的第一个星期一下午3到4点，就是这个时间1个小时的时间，我们会邀请3到5位，每次都会邀请3到5位来自国际马术品牌协会、公司的代表、专家，他们来每个人有10分钟来分享他们的经验，还有介绍他们的品牌和协会公司。那会议时间是1个小时，我们尽量做到非常准时，然后也不耽误大家的时间。 那刚刚我也说了，是一个双语的会议，可能我们的嘉宾为了保持他们最准确、他最想要表达的信息呢，我们邀请他们用英语来演讲。那我们的中文，他们的中文呢都会翻译成他们的 PPT 都会翻译成中文，所以大家应该理解起来也是没有问题的。然后呢，我们这个交流会是没有重播的，所以呢是机会非常难得，大家请一定要锁定每个月的第一个周一的下午3到4点，准时在线上听一下我们这个会议啊。然后大家都通过这个腾讯会议，可以是手机，也可以是电脑的版本参加我们这个会议大家可以手机的话，它也不耽误大家使用手机可以把它最小化可以听。那用电脑的话就更加方便了。那如果有任何问题呢，请联系这个小助手，因为我们这个会议呢不设问答环节，所以大家看到右边的这个这个二维码，大家如果没有加这个小助手的话呢，可以添加这个小助手。好的，那我们现在来进行有一个今天很特别就是我们这个中外马业交流会跟英国马术贸易协会 British Equestrian Chain Association 签订了一个年度的战略合作协议，就是帮助他们的会员，就是英国的这些马术的品牌和公司以及专家，会在我们这个平台上面每个月都参加我们这个会议，然后每个月都有至少一个他们的成员来进行跟大家见面，跟大家介绍他们的情况。所以呢，也是算是非常好的一个机会，通过官方协会的一个介绍和推荐，让大家更好的去了解这个英国马术行业的一个情况，以及他们的一些产品服务他们发展到什么程度啦，有什么值得我们学习借鉴的，还有什么可以跟我们合作的一些机会，都会在我们这个平台上面展示大家也知道，如果是我们的老听众的话，也知道我们在今年2月份的时候呢，跟法国的诺曼底大区的这个官方马业协会也签订了类似的协议，所以现在我们有法国和英国2个马术大国，可以说马术强国，进行了这个官方的这个合作协议，可以为大家带来英国的、法国的、更多欧洲和世界各地的这些马术的第一手的信息。好的，那我们现在呢，今天为了支持我们这个战略合作也为了跟大家更好的介绍这个英国马术贸易协会，我们有请了第一位重量级的嘉宾，请李文来介绍一下他。
好的，我们今天下午的第一位讲者是来自英国马术贸易协会 BETA 的执行董事 Claire Williams。然后这个协会呢是在整个世界上有850家会员单位，然后也是我们比较熟悉的英国马术联合会 BEF 和英国马业委员会 BHC 的会员。然后我们可以看到接下来 Claire 要介绍一下 BETA 具体要做什么，以及它是如何来链接英国以及其他国家的客户的。Now, Claire, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Wen. Thank you very much, Zoe. It's lovely to be presenting to you this morning about the British Equestrian Trade Association, our interest in China, and what we can do to help trade develop in both directions. As Wen said, my name is Claire Williams. I'm the Executive Director of the British Equestrian Trade Association, and I've been with BETA for 22 years. I came here from Germany, where I spent 10 years doing trade development for a New Zealand company, and I'm very pleased now to be helping British companies as well as our other members around the world do business in China and develop it there. And next slide, please. British Equestrian Trade Association was established in 1978, so we're celebrating nearly 45 years of representing companies from both here and around the world. We are a trade association for manufacturers, wholesalers, and suppliers of equestrian equipment to customers here and further afield. We have membership of over 850 companies, and they range from retailers, both in-shop and online, to manufacturers and distributors. We assist companies both in the UK and overseas in market development, opening up new markets for their goods in the UK and further afield. And we also pride ourselves on being recognised by the British government as the key partner for them on matters of trade and development. We're also a member of the British Equestrian Federation and the British Horse Council, that are the two main bodies dealing both with the sport of equestrianism and liaison with all government departments. Next slide, please. BETA has three main activities. Along our trade association work, which I'll come back to, we also run one of the largest trade shows in the world, BETA International, which features companies placing equestrian, pet and country clothing products on the market. We've run BETA International for 43 years. It is run at Stoneleigh, which is the National Agricultural Exhibition Centre, and traditionally used to take place at the beginning of the year, but following COVID, we've moved it now to September. So it is running this year from the 11th to the 13th of September. We also publish the largest trade magazine. This has a circulation in the UK of around 5,000, as well as having overseas subscribers, but also more importantly, we have a weekly e-news that has 20,000 subscribers around the world, and that is able to be subscribed to by going to the website. And that provides news, product news, people news, but all focusing on the equestrian industry. BETA itself, as well as offering traditional trade association benefits such as working on our members' behalf with government, helping them when they have issues with the regulators. We also run product approval schemes. We do primarily a lot of training, product related, and we also are known for the market research work we do in the market. We are able to supply statistics and information on riding and spending in the UK, as well as more recently expanding this to European-based research. And next slide, please. Going into a little bit more detail about a lot of the areas we're particularly known for. Training Tools is our online training platform where we're able to offer both live and on-demand training courses on a range of riding and trade-related topics. Our aim is to produce retailers that are professional and can advise their customers expertly. And in addition, we are increasingly seeing interest from coaches and riding schools to improve their own knowledge, but also to engage with riders to help improve their knowledge. The main areas that we're able to train on is, as well as broad business topics such as merchandising, customer service and sales. We also advise on safety equipment fitting, so that's hats and body protectors. We also offer training on bits and bridle fitting. And a very big area in the UK is saddle fitting. We find that the Training Tools is very easy to use. It's available online, and the courses can be run through at your own pace with checks during the training to ensure that knowledge has been secured, and also with tests at the end. They combine live, interactive, and study sections. And that's something that we've really built on over the last 2 years and are adding to all the time. In 2020, we did a project with the Russian Equestrian Federation, and also were able to offer courses in a range of languages. The other area is, again, the trade fair, which is an opportunity both to come to look at sourcing suppliers from the UK, Europe and wider. We have companies from around the world exhibiting and visiting, and I'm proud to say we also feature amongst our members and exhibitors Chinese companies, both as visitors and to introduce new products. The trade fair is renowned for a place to find innovative products. We have a new product gallery where products that are new to the market since October last year will be featured. And we also have a Best Product Award in 7 categories. The other area that we work primarily in is in product approval. The best known product approval that we have is for our body protectors. That scheme has been running since the early 90s. And we also act in the product area on feed safety and bedding safety. Next slide, please. So this provides a bit more detail. As I said before, the research work we do is well renowned. We're the only provider of truly independent market research on the market here. So if anyone's interested in broadening their products in this direction, we're able to help and advise on market statistics. The marketing schemes, the product approval schemes I mentioned, you can see the green label, which is our feed assurance scheme. That is particularly relevant for those riding in sport, governed either by the Chinese Equestrian Association or the International Equestrian Association. And NOPS stands for naturally occurring prohibited substances. And that scheme helps riders reduce the risk of their horses testing positive should they have to undergo a dope test by reducing the risk of illegal substances entering feed and supplements. That is now specified by the British Equestrian Association for all members of the British team. They must only feed supplements and compound feed showing that logo. It's a scheme that is audited annually, so has a high rigorous standard set. The body protector standard, which is the blue on black label, as I said, has been running for now nearly 30 years. And that ensures that there is ongoing quality of body protectors in the market. And I'm pleased to say we have 15 licensees around the world, including China, who have the right to use that label on their product. And that label is acknowledged again in most of the international riding federations.
Hi, Claire.
And
2
then the
minutes
other
left.
label, thank you, is our EGIS label, which ensures that the feed is appropriate for horses who are prone to gastric ulcers. Next slide, please. So to round up, we're able to offer virtual online training to riders, coaches, and the trade on key topics that you need to know about when you're selling product or using product on your horses. We advise on business partners in the UK and further afield, and can supply information on all products. We offer a platform for launching and marketing Chinese products and sourcing products from the UK through our trade fair. And we're interested in making contact with Chinese organisations, retailers and trade, as well as professional bodies to help us help you grow your own market and expertise. Thank you, Zoe.
Great. Thanks, Claire. Thanks for the introduction about the BATA and what it does in the UK and with other clients inside and outside of the United Kingdom. And now 我们现在根据我们 Claire 刚刚介绍的英国马术贸易协会的介绍，我们有一个小的 Q&A 环节，但是它这个 Q&A 呢非常简单，而且在结束之后的话，我们会有一个小的礼品，然后送给第一个答对问题的这个同学。我们现在是在腾讯会的聊天里边，大家可以看到你的下边，如果你是在电脑上的话，下边有一个聊天的功能。那么问题问出来之后，那么第一个在我们的聊天框里边打出正确答案的，那么这位听众就将获得我们的这个小礼品。那我的问题的话，就是基于刚刚 Claire 讲的关于 BATA 的一些介绍和一些阐述。那么这个问题很简单，就是 BATA 在今年要举办一个国际贸易的展销会，那么这个会是在今年的几月？好，开始。
然后大家可以在那个
已
聊天
经
打出来啊，看有没
我们
有
看到已经
认真去。
有正确的答案了。
已经有正确答案了。
Okay, so dear speaker, I just asked, so BATA is going to hold an international trade fair. The question is, in which month it is? So you can see, if you can see the chat box, several answers have been posted on the chat box. 好，我们已经看到了第一位。
那请李文直接宣布吧。正确答案是。
其实我们的这个已经非常的明显了，我们这个答案是今年的9月11号到13号。我们问的是几月，只要你答出了9月就是对的。那么根据我们的聊天室的记录，大家都可以看到。那么第一位是叫做佳佳 Joya， 我们稍后会联系你，把我们的答案，把我们的这个礼物来送出。
好，会后请在那个微信群里面的绿色小助手联系他获奖，但是要注意一点，就是我们仅限在会议前在我们的微信群里面参加过接龙报名的会员领奖啊。如果第一位没有参加过接龙，那就是第二位顺延到第二位去领奖。好的，那我们事不宜迟，我们就马上请出我们第二位演讲嘉宾，他是来自波兰的 Maxim。大家应该也会，如果你不是第一次参加我们的会议的话呢，也会看到过他们的介绍，非常特别，然后呢又很有用的一项技术，为了你的马匹还有你的马匹状况的一个健康进行一个实时的检测，然后你可以在家里可以在你的马场里，可以在家里跟你的马在一起的时候都可以进行这个检测。那我们先请 Maxim 来具体的为我们介绍一下到底是怎么样的检测。Maxim, it's your turn.
Hello. Okay. Thank you very much, Zoe, for this introduction. And hello, everyone. We can go to the next slide, I guess, about us. Yeah, great. So, hello, everyone. It's good to be here again. As I know, I think that you, most of you know a little bit more about our laboratory, but those who not, so please give me opportunity to tell you a little bit more. We are a diagnostic laboratory, which in 2018 introduced an innovative worldwide solution, elemental hair analysis for animals. What is important, we based on scientific research as the only laboratory in the world. We have developed the EHA test that helps to maintain the proper functioning of the organism of horses, as well as dogs and cats. The EHA test allows choosing the best diet and therapy for our animals, horses including, of course. As a PetsDiag, we are a partner of the Polish Science Cluster in Krakow, the Polish Horse Breeders Association, and the winner of the gold medal in the category of quality and innovation. Our laboratory gains for the market by offering EHA tests in Europe, USA, Asia, and Australia. One of our most important market is the UE. So it's right now the faster market for us. And I believe that in the near future, the China will be also. We can go to the next slide. Thank you. Today, I want to talk a little bit more about one of the part of our report from our test. It's information about the toxic elements in our horse's body. So why toxic elements are a problem? Most heavy metals are found naturally in trace amounts. Their presence is associated with such processes, I don't know, volcanic eruptions or forest fires, etc. Usually, they do not negatively affect the natural environment. However, the progressive urbanization and scientific industrialization to increase the toxic metals in nature, and the same in our body as a human being, and also in our pet's body. Horse also. So these heavy metals that enter the atmosphere, water, and soil are deposited on the above ground parts of plants and are taken up by plant root systems. Therefore, it is important to prevent animals from grazing nearby the roads, heat and power plants, and other industrial areas. We can go to the next slide. Thank you. I choose a few toxic metals we describe in our report. For example, cadmium is an element that occurs naturally in small amounts in soil, rocks, and ocean waters. It is concentrated in plants that take it from the soil. So cadmium is poorly excreted from the body, so it is very important to avoid its sources. Cadmium poisoning leads to kidney damage, digestive problems, reproductive problems, and reduced growth. The second is lead. Lead poisoning is one of the most commonly reported poisonings among animals. We can go to the next slide. Vanadium is also very heavily toxic metals. Poisoning with this element leads to decreased growth, dehydration, extreme exhaustion, and other diseases. And nickel is present in animal food in very small amounts. Its absorption from the nature is also very dangerous for our horses. This is about toxic metals. We can go to the next slide. But right now I want to tell a little bit more about the 9, almost 10 important areas which we can read in our test report. Here on this slide, this is the small graph on the left corner, and what kind of information we can find in our report. So first of all, how elements, how the level of micro and micro elements impact in this kind of areas like immune system, stress level, digestive system, metabolic rate, hormonal balance, hair, skin, bones and joints, muscles, growth, and breathing activity. So we are testing almost 30 elements and looking at correlation between them and the level of those elements, we can describe in what condition is a particular area of your horse health. Test itself is very simple. You just take a hair sample. We can go to the next slide. You just take a hair sample of your horse and send to our laboratory. We test it, and the test results are available online, so it's very simple and quite quick because we tested some samples from China, and it takes maximum 14 days to get test results. And of course, each test results has a description part and also individual conversation with horse nutritionists to explain each area of this result. So as horse owners, you can get a really individual information about your horse health. Yes, we can go to the next slide. And so right now we want to grow our business in China. As I mentioned before, we are selling a few tests monthly, but of course we are looking for business partner to grow faster. So if you want to know more about our test, about our laboratory, about our business, just feel free to contact with me, with PetsDiag, or with Wonderhost to connect us, and we can discuss all conditions. Okay, I guess it's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maxim. Since you have 2 minutes left, may I ask you a question? How long it will take for Chinese client to send you those samples and get their result sent back?
So yeah, as I mentioned, it takes maximum 14 days. It's our experience shows that it's the longest time.
Yeah.
We generally cooperate with couriers, so the hair samples is in our laboratory quite fast.
对
，quite quick.
Thank you. So 大家刚刚也听到了这个 Maxim 介绍他们这个马毛的这个测试的技术啊，他也通过大家可以在马房里面呢，通过他们的一个简单的指导和培训呢，可以直接的把你的马的鬓毛啊剪一部分下来寄到波兰他们的实验室进行一个化验，然后之后呢，他们会把结果以email 的形式发给大家，大家看到你的马存在一些什么样有毒的金属元素，它的体内有毒金属元素的存量是不是超过正常的指标像血检一样，其实也可以让大家知道马的健康情况，然后他们的专家呢也会根据马匹体内的这些元素微量元素的一个变化呢，给出大家一些合理的饲养还有伙食的一些改善的一些建议，所以说应该是非常有科学依据的，非常准确的一个可以监测到马匹状况的一个技术。因为呢，马是不能自己说话，所以呢，它有的时候身体的情况呢，还是要通过很多的仪器、很多的检测去发现，早发现也早治疗，也找出这个应对的方案，对于马主、对于骑手来说呢，也是一个非常节省这个花费的这么一个做法。好的，我们非常感谢 Maxim 给我们做出的这个演讲哈。所以我现在要问大家一个问题，很简单的这个问题，我想问一下他们的 Maxim 他介绍他们的实验室是在哪个国家？请大家在这个聊天室里面回答问题，第一位答对的话呢，我们就会送出奖品。对的，波兰，其实波兰呢也是大家都答对了是波兰的一个实验室。其实波兰也是一个马术非常历史非常悠久的一个国家，他们发展的也是非常好的所以呢，我们也可以关注一下波兰在这个马术科技还有创新上面的一些发展。那第一位答对的，我们今天的嘉宾是 Win， 那看一下之后你有没有在我们群内接龙第二位是王月欣，那我们就会给第一位答对的朋友送出一个奖品。好的，请会后联系小助手。那我们请出第三位嘉宾，大家我们也说了，之前呢，我们今天是开始跟这个英国的马术贸易协会合作。那我们之前呢，一直跟这个法国的诺曼底大区的马业协会有长期的合作关系每一次会议呢，他们都会派出他们的精选他们的会员单位来跟我们见面，跟我们介绍他们的情况。那今天呢，我们我个人非常喜欢这个品牌，然后我觉得这个产品也非常的独特在我们这个马术市场上面叫一个来自法国的品牌叫 Racer 他们之前主要是做这个摩托车单车这个骑手的手套。那现在呢，他们从很久就开始做这个马术的手套，所以这个手套到底有什么学问，有什么讲究，我们就今天邀请他们的 Racer 这个品牌的马术部门主管 Andy Chansel 来给我们介绍一下。Andy, the stage is yours.
Yes, hello everyone, and thank you Zoe for this introduction, and thank you Winley for hosting me and hosting Racer, and give me the opportunity to introduce Racer to the ASEAN market. So maybe we can start our glove story. You can go to the next slide. And Racer is like famous brand. It's like quite new, but also old brand. Why I am telling this? Because the brand is only for 4 years on the equestrian market, but the brand was founded in almost like 100 years. It was founded in 1977 in the south of France. And at the start, Racer was the brand for all type of glove. it was a man who was creating the gloves for all activity, including equestrian activities, but also skiing, boats, motorcycles, and everything. And at the start, that man was doing the glove in his own house, but the brand was growing so fast, he has to evolve. And then 30 years later, he started to focus on the ski gloves, on the glove for skiing. And this is why the past 90 years taught us to know a lot more about accuracy and ergonomics and acquire an impressive know-how for the gloves and also the protections. So in 1917, the brand has the first glove who were at the Olympics for skiing. And then it has been opening the motorcycle division, and then it created the first aided gloves on the market for the motorcycles. So we have been doing aided gloves for almost 50 years. And I do shorts, but just to tell you the quick story about Racer, the brand was sold and everything, but it was always growing so fast. And in 7 years ago, in 2015, we created the bike division. And 3 years later, we created the Equestrian division. So this is how we are right now. We always create like we have 4 divisions: ski, motorcycle, bike, and equestrian division. And we also doing urban collection for all the people that lives in the big city. And we also doing, like, this is our main market, and we're also doing some other activities and some collaboration. We have been working for the postal company in France, or for the army, or for other brands like Louis Vuitton or Chanel. So this is a real opportunity for us to develop our activity. And for me, I'm managing the equestrian division. And the main part of the brand, can you go to the previous slide? Thank you. The main part of the brand is all the products are created by riders. So this is, I guess, our very game changer. And for 90 years, we have been working in the workshop in France. So this is a unique place of design, and it allows us to test and thinking and sewing, and this is where everything starts. Then we can have the all control on creating process, and it allows us to experiment the new products, the gloves, but also the predictions. And this is also allows us to control everything from the start to the end, and the whole chain of the creation. And we also work with the better fabrics, you know, and we're also looking for the new solution and new technical process and everything. So yeah, we can say that our main strength up in know-how, of course, the history and the tradition, the passion, the innovation, and everything, the new technology. So you can go to the next slide. Thank you. So as I told you, the first product was really the gloves on the multi-universe, but then we focused like 4 years ago on the equestrian market, because for me as a writer, I saw that there are no glove that it perfectly fits, and I was not really happy with the gloves that I had. So I was like, okay, how can I improve all the things on the market? And this is how every new product pop up in the brand in my mind. So I always start from the problem that I have as a writer, and always think that how can I improve this? And this is how I made the glove, and also we're working with the team to find the better materials and the better fabrics, and it allows us to go on the other products, because now we have like a range of 12 gloves, and we start to go on production. We are helmet in the making, but also therapeutic products for the horses. So we have a lot of projects that are coming up, and we would like to grow faster. And just to come back on the glove, this is our main bestseller. So the first one is the traditional glove. It's inspired from the driving gloves. This is a real laser glove. And after we have a really short glove, really breathable, it's called Sensation. So these are the top sales here in the market, like in the world. The third one is the grooming glove. It's called Recreation. And the fourth one is, of course, the first hitting glove for horse riders, really adapted to ride horses. And yeah, you know, in the winter, like sometimes it can be really, really cold, and you cannot feel your fingers anymore, and you need to have contact with the horse and with the horse mouth and with your reins. So we have been developing it for 3 years, and now it's like really, really a beautiful object of technology. So yeah, you can go to the next slide. Thank you. And so this is how we are right now. We are looking to develop and to grow faster. So we are, of course, France-based, but we are working in the world. So our main market is in the Europe, of course, but we're also working in the United States and Canada. But for now, we're looking for new partnerships in Asia and in China. So if you like the challenge and if you want to start a glove story, please let me know. I will be very, very happy to start a new collaboration and enhance.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much. Thank you. 所以大家看到这个是一个他们这个品牌啊 ，Racer 这个品牌呢是法国制造、法国设计，非常的专门的为。现在他们这条产品线是专门为这个马术骑手而设计的。大家也看到，刚刚我们有4个，他说了4个这个最畅销的产品啊。大家也看到，可能跟我们现在市面上能找到的手套，马术手套呢，会有设计上的不一样，有更多的功能性，还有它的产品的质量，还有它的质地，会更加的符合我们这个骑手的这个需求。所以呢。这个是非常有趣的一个品牌，它不是很大，它不是特别大，但是呢，它是非常专业的，专门做这个手套的这么一个品牌。那如果大家感兴趣的话呢，可以跟 Andy 联系，或者是通过小助手跟这个品牌联系上。无论你是想要购买，还是说你想要进口、批发、销售、代理他们的产品，都可以跟我们联系。那现在问出第一个现在问一个关于 Racer 的问题啊，大家请在这个聊天室里面打出这个正确的答案。我想问 Racer 这个品牌，它第一个推出的手套是用于哪一项运动的？它一开始呢，并不是专门做这个马术的，那它是做什么的呢？没错，大家很多都答对了啊！看还有没有人在答啊？它的品牌已经有90多年的历史了，但是它并不是一开始就做马术的手套，它一开始是做另外一项运动的手套。那因为其实手套的这个功能性啊，还有它的这个材料工艺也是差不多，所以呢，它慢慢的现在越来越多的骑手的话，而且像 Andy 他自己也是一个骑手，他专门去开发了这个马术手套的这个产品线，所以他们第一个产品线应该是摩托车的手套。赵炳晓朋友，你答对了。那第2位答对的是吴，看你们哪一位是参加过接龙啊，就获得我们送出的奖品。好的，非常感谢大家的关注。那最后呢，我们有一个非常也是很重磅级的很好的一个项目，还有一个学校跟大家推荐。我把这个话筒交给李文，跟大家 简单的介绍一下第4位演讲嘉宾。
马上要给我们做今天第4场也是最后一场演讲的嘉宾呢，如果你之前参加 webinar， 那么你肯定已经听过他的名字了，那没有听到我的，我再跟大家简单介绍一下。那么这位讲者呢，是来自英国亚伯大学的高等教育学院的高级研究员，也是动物与马科学的高级讲师，是 Debbie Nash 博士。那么在今天他的第2场，就是整个系列的第2部分的演讲中，他要介绍这个亚伯大学的像教学设施、教职员工、马相关的活动和联系，以及校园的学习环境一览。那我们现在把我们的话筒交给我们的 Debbie Bush。So Dr. Debbie, now the floor is yours.
Thank you. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Well, thanks for giving us this opportunity to tell you about Aberystwyth University and the equine courses that we run here. As you'll remember, this is the second part of a 2-part presentation, and the previous presentation was given a few weeks ago. And in that one, I gave a little bit of background about the university itself and also gave some details relating to the courses that we run here. But next slide, please. What I'm hoping to do this morning then is talk a little bit about our facilities and the staff that we have here and the expertise, and also a little bit about the town of Aberystwyth as well. So next slide, please. So in order to support our academic studies, which are very much pure science based, we also clearly have practical facilities as well. So we have an equine centre. And this is for use by our students as well as members of the public in our local community as well. We're a relatively small equine centre. We have stabling for about 55 horses, and we of those horses, that about sort of 10 of those are owned or used by the university for teaching. The remainder are student liveries. So if you come to Aberystwyth, then as a student, if you have a horse, you can bring your horse here. And it doesn't matter what course you're on. If you are doing English or physics or drama, you can still bring your horse to university. It doesn't have to be that you're doing an equine course with us. So we've got a 30 by 60 indoor school. Oh, can you go back a slide? Sorry. There we go. Yeah, so we've got a 30 by 60 indoor school. We've also got a 30 by 60 outdoor school, as well as our stabling and all the usual facilities. So we've got solarium and horse walkers. But what is also very useful is that we also have turnout for our horses. So they can go out into the fields every day, which at other universities in the UK, or at least colleges, they don't have the space that we have. So often horses are having to be stabled all day and all night. But we try and get our horses out every single day here, so they get hopefully a bit more of a natural experience in that sense as well. So all of our students are able to turn horses out every day. Okay, next slide, please. So in order to support studies, we have a lot of equipment, as you would expect. We've got some very basic equipment that students are allowed access to, and we also have some more advanced equipment. So on the basic side, and students would be allowed access to this as part of their day-to-day teaching, but also if they do dissertations, they're allowed to borrow equipment for the summer holidays, so they can go and do their dissertation projects as well. So we have heart rate monitors, which are pretty standard now, but we have a range of those that students can use, and we also use those in practicals as well. Thermographic cameras, which are very popular as well, they can be used, and again we have students who use those as part of their dissertations. We also have a department ultrasound scanner. I have to say we're now running veterinary science here as well, so the vets have been borrowing that and trying to steal it away from us, but we can use the ultrasound scanner for anything that's non-invasive, and I've had students using it to measure the rate of improvement of tendon injuries during their recovery. So that's the type of thing that we can use it for sort of limb tendon scanning and that type of thing. Next slide, please. We also have a range of state-of-the-art technologies as well. And I should say something that's a bit different between us and colleges where you would study equine courses is that we are a traditional university here, which means that our staff teach for 50% of the time, but we also do research for 50% of the time. So we all have our own research groups, we all have our own labs, we have to conduct research, it has to be published in the scientific literature, and we have our own PhD students and postdocs working on funded projects. And in order to do that, we obviously have to have a certain sort of infrastructure and facilities to do that. So the picture on the top left there just looks like a really boring white box. This is a DNA sequencer, so we can sequence entire genomes here, and we often do that with some student projects. We can also sequence RNA as well here, which can be useful to look at more of the functional side of gene expression. You can see the image on the right-hand side there. So this is our tissue culture suite, which is something that I use as part of my research. So rather than doing experiments on live animals, we can take tissues or cells and we can recreate certain situations in the lab. So my particular area of research is inflammation. So I can take cells from samples from horses and we can create models of inflammation, and we can do things like test potential new drug therapies or how they respond to different types of challenge and measure those responses. So you can see there in the bottom middle diagram, that's just a picture of some epithelial cells. So these are basically tissue lining cells that we've grown up in the lab. And as I say, students can get involved in this as part of their dissertations or even master's research. So that's always something that, that we're always keen to encourage students to do. And it's really lovely that we have the facilities to do that. Next slide, please. So I always like to just give a little overview of the staff that we have here. So we've got a range of staff and all have got research backgrounds. So Sebastian McBride, who's on the far left there, he is an expert in equine behaviour, and he's been pioneering our understanding of equine stereotypies. So he's also been looking at the neurochemical basis for that. So he does a lot of research relating to the equine brain and also equine learning and cognition studies, and he also applies that to other species as well. The lady on the chestnut horse there, that's Mina Davis-Morrell. She teaches on our MSc courses, and she is an equine reproduction specialist, and as we'll see in a minute, she's widely published. She publishes a lot of the sort of more well-known textbooks in the field, and has she's recently retired. She's still going to be teaching on our MSc course, but she's had a very lucrative research career. The top and bottom pictures in the middle, so at the top there, jumping cross-country fence, that's Hannah Appleton, who's our equine yard manager, and below there we've got Carol Williams, so they help with running the yard. They are BHS qualified instructors, and the yard that we run is BHS approved, so students can also come and do their BHS training with us as well, up to intermediate instructor level. That's me there, top right. So it's just to show that when we're not working, we also get out and we get out on the beach and we take the horses down to the beach. Yep, there we are. So my research background is also reproductive physiology, mainly looking at inflammatory models relating to uterine inflammation and issues with breeding horses. Bottom right there, so that's Ruth Wanvor. She was actually an undergraduate student of ours. She went through our MSc. She then became my PhD student. She completed her PhD in bovine inflammatory models, and she's now a lecturer with us, and she specialises in anatomy, physiology, and also exercise physiology as well. So a whole wide range of staff with a range of backgrounds, from the practical to the academic, but all of us ride and can hopefully then relate everything back to the practicalities of owning and training horses. Okay, next slide, please. So here are just some examples of research that we've published in scientific journals. I have to say these are a little bit old now. I could do with updating these, but we publish on a wide range of subjects. So from equine neuro biology through to exercise physiology, and reproduction. And I've also dabbled in a little bit of population genetics as well, which is the paper at the bottom there. So just to demonstrate that we lead and we publish the research. And it's nice that when we go into lectures and teach our students, they get to hear all about what we've been researching. It's not information that we've just learned through reading textbooks ourselves. So it really is first-hand information. So we pride ourselves on being what we call a research-led university. So the research leads the teaching rather than just, regurgitating facts and figures to students. Here are some of the textbooks that Mina has published. And probably the most popular one is the one on the left there. So Equine Reproductive Physiology, Breeding and Stud Management. I think she's on her 5th edition now. So she had a new edition published back in 2021. But it's nice that when you go to colleges and we externally examine for other universities, it's nice to see that these are top of their reading list on a lot of the modules. And it's lovely to have the link back to Aberystwyth that they were kind of written here by members of our staff, which is always good to know. Next slide, please. Yeah, and we also get involved in organising conferences. It's important for us to be involved in wider research societies. So I've been a member of the British Society for Animal Science for many years now. And for some years, I was the chair of their conference organising committee. So we organise their annual conference. This is just one of the sessions, but the conference accommodates about 500 delegates each year. And it's good for us to go to them as well. Our own research areas can be relatively narrow, so it's good for us to go along and learn about other areas of research. And again, we can use that to inform our teaching. So we do try and keep an open mind and make sure that we get out to conferences, and sometimes we're even organising them ourselves. So just another aspect to what we do, which we can bring to our teaching as well. Okay, next slide, please.
All right, Debbie, 2 minutes.
Yeah, no worries. And these are just some examples of other things that can be going on in Aberystwyth if you're a student. So it's not all about studying. We have British Horse Society training. Aberystwyth, as you might have seen in the first presentation, is sort of quite rural in its location. So it's difficult to travel out to competitions. So we have competitions here. So we have show jumping and dressage competitions, as well as a riding club team. And we have competitions here 3 weekends out of every month during teaching time. So we've got all of that going on as well. And we also have external people come and visit. So you don't just have to have lessons with our own instructors. There's some examples of people that we've had over recently. Patrick Print is quite a regular visitor. So he's a fellow of the BHS. And we also have Horses Inside Out as well, who you may have seen come and teach by painting muscles or the skeletal structure on the horse, and then do anatomy and physiology teaching. So we often have that over to visit us as well, and the students can benefit from that, as well as members of the public too. Okay, next slide, please. So that's everything really. So this is just a nice image of Aberystwyth itself. It gives you a sense of our location. We are a small town, but we are completely built for the students. So it's a university town, and we're set right on the coast. So you've got the busyness of the town, and if you're a student, we've got plenty of nightclubs and places to go drinking. We've got a really lively social life, but you've got the sea on one side and the mountains on the other. So it's a really nice mix, particularly for those people who aren't really keen on going to live and work in big sort of urban cities. So it's a lovely environment, and we find that students often come here and never leave. So they often stay in Aberystwyth, and we find them working at different jobs in the university, and it's a home for life. And that was everything that I wanted to present this morning. So thank you very much for listening.
Great, thank you, Debbie. I don't know you can bring your horses to your university. It's the first time.
Yeah, okay. Sure, absolutely.
Great. Now it's pop quiz for our listeners. 那么我们刚刚听了 Debbie 老师介绍了关于亚布大学的第2部分的介绍。那么这个问题呢，就是他在介绍仪器的时候，就是检测马匹身体体征的时候，介绍了3种仪器。那么其中一种是超声波扫描仪，第2种是热成像摄像机。那么第3种仪器的名字是什么呢？好，现在开始。3种检测仪器，除了超声波扫描仪和热成像摄像机以外，第3种是什么呢？ 他当时
这个有点
提到了
难度，
有点难度，是在我们的前面的。
对，有点难度，要看大家有没有认真听啊。好，大家可以尝试一下，以你的刚刚的记忆打出来。看来可能还是有，但还是很多人认真听啊。
其实我已经是把比较难的2个，就是字比较长的2个，已经先拿出来了。因为我们说这个正确答案呢，就是我们已经有正确答案了，就是心率检测仪，就不仅仅是马嘛，我们说你自己也可以带，你运动的时候带来看一下你的心率，或者说你带着手环。好，我们的正确答案呢就是心率检测仪。那么稍后的话，我们核实一下大家有没有在我们的粉丝群里边进行我们的接龙，然后根据接龙和我们的正确答案的答题的顺序比较，然后来颁出我们第4个讲座的这个奖品。好，
对，没错。那我们今天送出的4个奖品呢，都是由 Wonder Horse 赞助提供的马主题的一些产品啊，非常精美的。到时候呢，大家收到的话呢，也可以晒一下单呢，因为也是会是一个惊喜的礼物，希望大家会喜欢。那今天呢，我们4位嘉宾呢，他们的演讲就结束了。我们呢下一次会议的时间呢是8月1号，不知道大家是不是在放假，在暑假的时间，但是呢也不要忘了星期一的时候呢，每个月的星期一第一个星期一的下午3到4点呢，我们都跟你在网上有约，可以有一个机会呢，让中外的马业同仁还有马术爱好者一起同台的去互相了解。那今天呢也非常感谢李文来我们进行一个主持，他也主持的非常好，大家应该也跟我一样，感觉他主持的非常好，无论是中英文，真的是感觉是在一个解说员，声音又非常好，非常流利哈。我们期待下一次跟大家的见面，8月1号。如果大家还没有跟我们进入我们这个微信群的话呢，可以扫一下右下方的这个2维码，加我们的微信小助手，然后我们会帮你拉进群里面。这样的话呢，你就不会miss 掉，就不会错失掉任何一次我们的中外马业交流会。非常感谢大家，今天就到这儿，谢谢。
That's all. Bye.
Thank you.
Until next time.
谢谢。Thank you very much. Thank you to all speakers. Thank you.